I got a water bottle. Zeno. Bad opinion. Bad Zeno. Down Zeno. What's in your mouth? Spit it out. Spit it out. Psst. Chat. It is time. Ow. Don't bully me. Chat. It is unfortunately time. Ah! Stop it. Stop it, Bozo. God damn it. Alright, so, quick context. Chad, you can say hi to YouTube, because essentially this is being done for that. So, the quick context is, I've been involved with some of the reaction content and, like, just the healer strike conversation. I wasn't involved with the drama itself. The person involved with the drama is essentially Xeno and a couple of other people. I say involved, they just did something and a lot of people didn't like it. And it's like, I don't agree with the whole healer strike. I've mentioned this in like a number of videos already. I don't agree with the healer strike, the way they're doing it and how they're demanding it. Or like how volatile a lot of the people are in the comment section, especially compared to like the JP side or a lot of other people who aren't exactly in the mood for this, let's say. But I do kind of support their, let's say we'll just call it the support their cause. Because I do want healers to be kind of looked at, and you know, I would like healing to be more fun. And the more we had these discussions, I shifted my opinion. I don't think healers need to be changed much. I just want the content itself to like have healers to be in demand. My suggestion was just to add mechanics that would require us to solve them as with healer tools, and that will somehow affect how the boss is being fought. So dispels healing, like healing up dooms faster. Maybe it takes a tick of health off of the boss. Something. Somehow affect do the mechanic in instances more fun for healers to play around. So healers are in demand, and they're not, because the general consensus, the more I talk to people, especially in the last video, which was like a 4-hour video of me just responding to comments, is people want a more intense rotation. But the context for that kind of suggestion has always been that they just want it to be more fun to play healers. And majority of people essentially just agree that it's just the content design, just the instance design. Give us something else to do other than, you know, DPS, healer stacks, and sometimes you use OGCD to heal, and sometimes you use a GCD to heal. Like, on paper, our job is fairly easy and boring. So we would like... We would just like the instances to be more fun to join as healers. Give us some more responsibility for as healers. But that's just my opinion. I've yammered about it long enough. And now, finally, Zeno made a response on the whole thing because he's in the news. I wanted the last video to be the last one, honestly. Because nothing's changing. Unless the strike actually has effect, or unless the devs respond, I kind of got tired of the whole debate. I think it has been talked about enough, but at this point I do owe it to at least watch Xeno's video, because he is kind of, by technicality, the person who started this whole, you know, circus. So let's see what Xeno thinks about this. I bet he's very polite about this and very sympathetic towards healers. Probably not.
We made it, boys. We are on a news article.
Wasn't he on news articles before? I feel like he's been on news articles a couple of times before. I'm pretty sure, unless he just reacted to it, maybe.
We read the article. Let's look at the forum post. Okay, so there's apparently a healer strike. So here's the original. Dawn Trail Media Tour dungeon was already cleared without healers. All right, now I'm going to tell you this, okay? For all you 54th that thumbs down my video, this is bullshit, because you can already do this.
55 now. It with me. 55 now.
Do you think he's gonna refresh the page and it's just gonna be in the hundreds? Because his chat, they're funny. They're very funny.
Shut the fuck up, man. Okay, you can already do this. This isn't anything new. This isn't anything. I swear to God, if I refresh this and see 55, I'm gonna lose my shit. Okay, good.
Okay,
Anyway,
they're behaving.
just to give you
Conservative.
guys an idea.
Hold on.
So when we went to the media tour, me, Whoops, Arthurs, and Todd, we did a dungeon, and I said, hey, I want to do this on Warrior so we can just do it without a healer because it's going to be really funny. Okay, I'll refresh. Yeah. Oh!
Fucking knew it. I knew it. His chat is very funny. I love Xeno's chat. They're very funny.
Oh my god! Okay, anyway, so we went to the media tour. We did this. Now, I was thinking to myself,
Do you guys think the dislikes are going to be higher than the likes by the end of this video? This video is 25 minutes long. I assume it's also edited down. I'm pretty sure it's gonna, like, it's gonna keep growing.
okay? I was like, man, I bet that for newer players or people that aren't like actually aware that you can do this, it's probably going to be very surprising. Because, all right, so like when you come from a different game, right? So let's say this is maybe your first MMO or you come from a different game. Your initial thought is probably not going to be, oh, hey, we don't need a healer for the dungeon. Because typically you will need, some type of healer or something for battle content. So I want to be perfectly clear here. Doing a dungeon without a healer on a warrior, it is not impressive. It is not challenging. The only thing you need to hit on warrior, for the most part, is literally bloodwetting. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that anybody can do it.
Speaking of anybody can do it, and hold on, let me find something real quick. First of all, when he says anyone can do it, he doesn't mean just tank and forward DPS. You can also do it as for healers, as Avi kind of showed us. To be fair, a lot of people are giving her too much like grief because she did it. Because some people need fucking windows in their rooms and look outside for once. But she did it with, I'm guessing, her stream for fun. No echo, minimum item level. That's fun, right? I saw a lot of like the comments just giving her grief for fucking no reason. Honestly, she doesn't deserve it. But and I like that a lot of people are being good sports. Zeno reposted this. This is an insult to tanks. Absolutely disgusting. The tank role is completely invalidated due to these toxic players. This is what happens when elitist players ruin the game. Oh, I'd like to think he'll just like down like a jar of jalapenos and 3 Mountain Dews just to type it out, like specifically this, misspelling and like some of these like weird gaps. But yeah, it's like majority of players. Again, it's like the situation is that a lot of people are going to be complaining about this. Because a lot of people have been bringing this up, and a lot of people have been tired of bringing this up, like since the last couple of expansions. Because healers are not really fun to play, not like the rotation or the spells. It just gets boring very quickly. It gets a lot quicker and like boring compared to other jobs, and a lot of people were just unhappy. Apparently, a lot of people felt very strong about it this expansion, because this is essentially the 3rd expansion. We're kind of getting dicked like this. Healers would like to do, be in the instance for more than just healer stack. You know what I mean? A lot of, again, it's like I don't agree with the healer strike is doing. They're kind of weird about it, but I kind of respect that they're trying to at least get the eyes of devs on the healers. I always want new toys. I always want healers to improve. But majority of the players, like the mid-core, hardcore, are just kind of looking at this and laughing. Because like this has been done for ages. It has been done for ages.
I was able to do it while clicking my abilities. I didn't even have, like when we first started the dungeon, I didn't even have decimate on my hotbar. I did this to try to like bait people into being like overly critical. So let's just...
And it worked.
Look at some of the comments first. We're not gonna look at all of them, but just to give a little bit of context, okay? This is already happening in the game. To all the losers crying about Xeno clearing a dungeon without a healer, cry more. You probably AFK him. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Amazing bald head, my lord.
All these comments.
This is literally...
Why can't I get funny comments like this? Why not? I guess I appreciate people's comments under my videos, but can I get some funny ones? Chad, once I upload this, can I get some funny jokes, like Final Fantasy 14 themed jokes under this video? I don't want comments on the topic anymore. You guys can send those on the other videos that already read or are still up. Under this video, please send me jokes. I want some funny 14 jokes.
Really disgusting. Why are healers needed? For if you can do this with low-level gear for the content, they should just bring back cleric stance if this was the direction they're taking things. Okay, I mean, entirely, this is not false. Okay, this is kind of not false. Kind of. It's like 50-50. The drama has caused is so funny. Great work.
By the way, none of the healers I talked to about this want cleric stance back. I've seen cleric stance just for a short time because I didn't heal actively during Stormblood when I joined the game. But like, I have not seen a single person who agrees with bringing back cleric stance. I don't know. That's all I know. Good.
Work Xeno. Lamau
Zeppler also made the video about the strike. I know, I reacted to it.
at this vid, starting a healer strike that is now 170 pages and counting. And also, of course, it was Xeno's. He literally made healers quit the game. They're going on strike. So guys, this has been a thing since Shadowbringers. I mean, honestly, this has been a thing since Stormblood. Probably even Heavensward. I'm pretty sure Warrior has always been able to do this, even in a Realm Reborn. So the fact that a Warrior can still do this, it's not really that crazy. The thing is like when you come from another game, it might seem a lot more crazy than it actually is, but it's really not that crazy. Like, I'm going to tell you guys this. If there's anybody in chat that hasn't tried to do this or that is interested in doing this, I promise you, just go in there with 3 friends, go on Warrior, and just every pull use Bloodwetting. You will do exactly the same thing I did. It's not that crazy. You will be able to do it. I promise you. Okay. And if you die, it's okay. By the time you die, if you even die, everything's going to be dead and the DPS are just going to kill the rest. Okay, this is kind of crazy. Been playing since.
He's not wrong. Like, I'm just surprised that right now it is like a big like topic of conversation. The forums are picking up more and more responses and more pages of like people just thinking this is like a game breaking thing. It's not game breaking, but it just points out that how boring it is to be a healer in this game. Like, I've done it as well with friends. Sometimes we would just do going for DPS sometimes. Because we just want tombstones faster. We just want to speed through it and we just want to kill everything. Either I'm on Paladin or one of us is just going to go on Warrior. And we're just going to go just run the train on the entire dungeon.
Stormblood, and this is the first expansion I've considered not buying. Of course, I still pre-ordered like the brainless sheep that I am, and I'm still paid for the privilege of Square Enix running the game to the ground. Healers are, I mean, look, dude, this is me, man. This is me. I relate to this because I'm going to buy every single expansion. This is me right here. I can't even shit on this guy for this because this is literally me. If they ever nerf Bloodwetting, it will be a cold day in hell. So hopefully, man, I brought some humor to the 14 community.
Just to confirm, like, I do not agree with nerfing other people's toys because you're unhappy with your own. I'm gonna keep repeating this. Don't complain other people having good toys. Like, demand Square Enix to give you some more fun toys. Ask Square Enix to give you something to do. Don't ask Square Enix to nerf other people's tools just because you feel irrelevant. Ask for more fun, like raid design or dungeon designs where healer mechanics are happening, and it's not just, because like tanks have tank busters, DPS have their own like little dance while doing DPS. They also have positionals, etc., etc., etc. Healers just have stacks. That's it. Stand on the healer so the healer doesn't die. In most cases, like even if it's just 2 people or even 1 person is standing, they're not gonna die because dungeons are very weak. But we do need more like healer mechanics that just specifically require healer to solve. Otherwise, everyone wipes. It shouldn't be like specifically healing per se, but let's say resolving a mechanic fast enough or effectively enough will affect the instance. That I'm still gonna hold on to that opinion at least for a while, until someone can kind of maybe open my eyes to something else.
Because like typically the type of drama that I like to cover is not serious type of drama, like with, you know, Desolence, Lionel, that type of stuff. That type of stuff is like criminal level. It's like actually like psychotic behavior. I don't like to cover that kind of stuff. But, you know, obviously for what happened, I'm going to, and I'm going to continue to do so. However, typically the normal stuff that I like to cover is drama like this. I really believe that it makes people laugh. And that's one of the things I enjoy most, is being able to make people laugh. So hopefully this brought you a little humor, because I thought that this was fucking hilarious that so many people were upset at this. This was the original post. Not a fan of this guy in particular, but I think it's pretty sad we're still here in the same boat again. Okay, so I am beyond livid. Not a fan of this guy in particular. Okay, why?
I'm beyond. I'm beyond livid. Just starts foaming at the mouth. I know it's like, again, it's like, I respect people's opinion. Everyone's opinion is valid. But it's like sometimes the way people do phrase some of these messages is just like very, I don't know. Someone is casting extra holy dungeons. Disrespectful to your group! Irrepressible dungeon!
Why? What is it about me as a person? Is it because I'm bald? Is it because I'm loud? Is it because you think I'm mean? I want to know. I want to know what it is that, not a fan of this guy in particular. You know, I want to know exactly what the fuck it is, because I bet whatever the fuck it is a dumb reason. Healer Strike, I would like to make this official thread for those in support of Healer Strike as a collective voice to the dev team to express the dissatisfaction with the continued direction the game has gone concerning healer gameplay and what it has arrived consensus that has deemed to be a negligence towards the role, as well as the players who main it. I would like to note that this thread is not to attack or in any way intend to be offensive towards any member of the dev team, director, producer, Yoshi P, Square Enix, or any of its affiliates. The purpose of the Healer Strike in this thread is to garner support for necessary changes and adjustments to be made in order to once again validate its place in content that requires grouping, and an equal contributed effort among all members of the group in order.
See, that particular statement of that entire post, I agree. I would like the spot of being a healer kind of being validated in raids. Because we somehow have like 2 spots for healers. You have 1 spot for regen, 1 spot for shield, and obviously high-end players have broken that rule. They've ran double regen, double shield. But if Square Enix is gonna keep insisting that we're also gonna be pigeonholed into these particular spots, give us a reason. In instance, why am I playing regen? Why am I playing shield? Just to mitigate some shield in advance and then heal up? I don't know. I'm going to keep repeating that I just want more healer mechanics in raids, not just healer stacks. Hell, even bring back the Xeno mechanic from Refulgence. Give me that.
In order to facilitate clears within Final Fantasy XIV. Please use this thread to voice your concerns, express your feelings in a constructive manner, point out issues, make suggestions, and to add your name to those who will be striking. The strike entails that players will not be participating in group content as any of the 4 available jobs to the healer role. It is understandable that they are likely active statics that are still working on Endwalker content.
I mean, it's not like healers are needed at all. People are overreacting with this shit. I feel like it's the whole general consensus of the Final Fantasy 4 community, sorry, 14 community. God, I've been playing some Final Fantasy 4 recently. Is that we never take things as positives anymore. Remember the whole thing with the Black Chocobo, where they gave some streamers the opportunity to get some subs and be rewarded by giving people the Black Chocobo? People immediately went up in arms like, no, bad. They didn't give opportunity to my favorite streamer. So, they didn't give opportunity to my favorite streamer. They hate. There was like another a bunch of racial conversation as well. Where's the other races? I don't know. Point them out. The ones that don't curse, at least. Because well, it was a small campaign, and we should have actually been thankful that Square Enix actually is giving opportunities to streamers. If it was met with a positive receive, they would have given the opportunity more often. They would have brought us more campaigns. But no. I sometimes I agree and disagree with Zeno depending on what he says. But most of the time I do agree, because he just normally just talks about stuff he does know. I do disagree when he started calling out Rin on, having his stream in the Icy Veins as part of their deal. And then I also kind of don't agree with Siren because he kind of backed out of that deal because of, because of ethical reasons. It's just not, no, shut up. Why are we like chastising people for getting the bag? Why are we chastising people for getting opportunities? Now sponsors are looking at the 14 categories and thinking, wait, they hate opportunities? They don't like their own getting opportunities? Why should we give anyone else opportunities? Like, when I heard the whole conversation, obviously, ethical reasons, Rin could have handled that whole situation better. But why are we chastising people for getting opportunities? I would like Xeno to get opportunities as well. Just to, like, get more views, get the bag, get, like, recognition on guide sites. Anyone, Sayori for Dark Knight, maybe Stall, like, on physical range, same with Seren. I mean, Seren did do the whole Icy Veins, but then he popped out of it because of ethical reasons. I would like these people getting opportunities. Momo should get an opportunity for scholars or monks or whatever else he's playing these days. I want people to get opportunities, but we should stop, like, seeing everything as a bad thing. And same here. Like, people... You have DPS actually using their tools to survive? God damn, how many times I've seen DPS wipe me because they could have just used Second Wind. When I look at Top Prog and Party Fighter and I look across 50 polls and none of these like dumb fucks are using Second Wind or even Bloodbath just to help out a little, especially in some situations, like those are not strong spells, but they can help out a lot if they're being, paid attention to and used across an instance. Why are we chastising people for using their tools and being very efficient? Same with Top. People saw that the top was cleared without any healers. I'm angry that someone else is doing good. Why can't I clear this as just 8 healers? Because I don't know. Let's be happy that some people can actually achieve something cool, that they're like the pinnacle of skill and that people should be proud of it. But I do want people to also remember that healers would also have like skill expression and responsibility in raids. So that less skilled people could be a bit chastised. Hey, do better. And then they do better and we kind of say, yeah, you did this. You got it. Without you, this pull wouldn't have happened. Obviously, it would have, but I want more mechanics for healers, more responsibility so that the healer spot is justified. Otherwise, we are essentially what the Japanese call the green DPS. What do you mean there was no healers? They had 2 paladins. No, those were blue DPS. But yeah, it's like this whole constant drama. It's like sometimes I want people to pay attention at certain issues in the game, but majority of it is going to be just like drowned out by this like echo chamber of like monkeys and typewriters just like, yeah! Fix my toys. Take the toys away from the others. It's I don't know. At this point, like the more I talk about this whole topic, I'm just like a jaded old man. Just like it's funny. Glad I'm playing Melee next expansion. I don't have to deal with drama.
And healer maids in general who would like to finish out the current expansion. In fairness, I would like to give those healers who wish to participate a grace period before the strike is official. Please provide your feedback as to the conditions to end the strike and the date it should begin. I am thinking the strike will be officially underway when Dawn Trail launches on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. I appreciate your time, fellow adventurers. Let our voices and our hearts be heard. So my issue with this is if they're fine, I actually don't care if people are going on strike. People are free to do whatever, within reason, they're free to do whatever the fuck they want to do. I'm not going to make fun of somebody or anything like that. I do think it's funny, but if that's how they choose to spend their time, then it's whatever. It's harmless. I don't really care. However, I will say this. I said this last time. I think that this is an extremely bad time to start doing it. You would not want to do this on July 2nd. You would want to do this like now instead of July 2nd, because correct me if I'm wrong, I am pretty sure that 99.9% of people are not going to do this because
No, Zeno, bad advice. Tell him to strike specifically on this day. Please, I want shorter queue times. Please. Please, I want to get into the game within this century. Please, it's fine if they want to strike on this day. Please, they're already blocking off servers. I have raiders on the other data center. We need to do some content together and extreme trials together. Please, I don't want those servers to keep being blocked off. If they want to strike on July 2nd, please let them. They're free to do whatever they want. I want shorter queue times.
As it is new content, and they want to play their fucking job. If they're going to strike, in my opinion, the strike would be more effective at a time like this when people no longer care. You have a time now. Let's say you actually do care a little bit and you're just like, well, fuck it. I just won't play healer. Maybe make healer queues go up by literally 1 second, which is like not really effective at all. Maybe I'll just do it now because when the expansion drops, I don't give a shit about any of this crap because the fact of the matter is this is how the job is designed. This is how the job will play in the first raid tier and probably the first ultimate. So regardless of what I think, I will have to play the fucking job. It doesn't matter. So going on a strike when the fucking expansion releases is really stupid, considering the fact that you are going to have to play that job in Savage content.
That is actually a very good point. Even people who, for example, share this opinion. Let's say some high-end raider reads this and thinks, you know what, this is my peanut butter and jam. I'm in favor of this. But then they're gonna just look at this data and just like, but I have a static. I trial for a static. They accepted me. We're preparing to raid. I want to raid with them, but I can't really come up to them and say, hey, guys, I can't really, do any prep with you guys because I gotta go on strike. Sorry, guys, I can't play today. Like, bring over people right now so people, like, the data on this would be a bit more clear. Because on July 2nd, the data how many people aren't playing healer is not going to be clear. Like, even if you're trying to get the devs' attention, because people are going to be leveling. Hell, every scholar is just like, oh man, I'm going on strike. Let me just go through the story and level with Summoner. Woohoo! They're going to level up later anyway. It's like, how long do you want to keep this strike to even going? Eventually, people who are even in favor of this strike, they will just say, like, no, fuck it. Loot is more important. Thank you for the rack, my lord. Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, they can just play not as healer. Yeah, exactly. They can literally clear all the story, unlock all the dungeons on DPS, and then just level up as a healer. At most, they can go into trust, but, like, are we really that petty that you're gonna torture yourself in trust?
They're not going to redesign healers because of this shit right here. Are you crazy? Like, these people have unrealistic expectations. And another thing is this. How many people in here prefer not to play healer, but when it comes down to it and you don't want to wait longer than 5 seconds for a queue, you just say, fuck it, I'm going to play a healer, and you get an insta-queue? Because that's me. If I don't want to wait more than 5 seconds for a queue, I will play a healer just to fucking do my shit. That's...
He's not the only one, by the way. This is not just for, like, the start of the expansion or dailies. Sometimes healers are in demand. I like to treat, like, when I recruit people for statics, I treat things in seasons. Like, it's physical range season because we need to go find physical range. We've got to hunt them down because there's none in the wild anymore. Or sometimes it's healers. And holy shit, sometimes people are so patient, and I shit you not. They will DM me, hey, I'm applying as a healer. I'm like, sure, you want a trial? And they're like, yeah. Only, you give me master loot, and I gear up my healer, and I'll play healer for you. I'm like, fucking excuse me? I will play healer. I know you need a healer. You will give me master loot. I will take all the loot I need. You guys can take whatever I don't. Immediately, I'm just like, I opt out. Like, no, I'm not having this conversation. No, man. And the stupidest thing is, if it happens once, that's fine. I even sometimes had a person roleplay while applying to my static, right? Which was also a very funny story. But shit like this happened multiple times before 6.3, and I'm trying to remember. Like it definitely happened. Like I'm like at the top of my head, I remember 2 situations, maybe 3, but definitely 2 situations that happened before Sig 3. And I know more times people have applied like this to me after. I don't remember if it was for top or for something else. But these people will essentially treat even like applying to statics as a fast queue. You tell me I could have demanded loot? No, you can look for another static if you like that.
That's me. So anyway, I think the strike should happen now, not on July 2nd. Just out of curiosity. And I'm not trying to like flame them or shit on them or anything like that. What is this person's experience?
Wait, healers get loot week 1? Only if they get into statics, but I doubt they get into static with that kind of shit attitude. You playing a healer is not gonna do heavy lifting for your shit personality, man.
With the game. Do they actually do the content that they're striking against? They have not cleared a single savage. This person's post and mentality will probably come from ignorance because you definitely need a healer in ultimates. You definitely need a healer in savage. Yes, savage and ultimates have been cleared without a healer, but those are in extreme conditions and it's not something that you can like base any type of realistic data off of, if that makes any sense.
This is for any of you fucking content creators, like both Zeppla and Cole. If you ever fucking see this video, stop comparing normal dungeons to fucking ultimates. If any of you fucking see this video, I swear to fucking Christ, stop comparing normal dungeons to ultimates or repeating that some fights were done without healer. You know how many times those fights were done without a healer? Across multiple expansions? Probably less than 10. Probably less than 10. They got their video, they uploaded it on YouTube. I doubt they want to go through that torture again. I doubt they're like, Steve can't come to raid today. Let's do, 6 DPS again. It's gonna be fun. Let's go. I doubt that's a normal thing. Stop comparing that. I will leg sweep you, I swear to Christ.
I'm saying is if this person were to actually do any of the content that he's saying you don't need a healer for, they would find out that you do in fact do need a healer, and they probably would not be as upset. I think that they have an unrealistic expectation of the content that they do and perhaps their skill level. Because if you were to force healers to have a dungeon, I would be hesitant to believe that this person that doesn't do anything but dungeons would be able to actually clear a dungeon. And the reason why I say that is because in the past, there have been dungeons that have literally been too hard. They have literally had to nerf dungeons in the past. So a really good example, I'll do a more recent.
Chad, did you know some people do dungeons for fun and that's their favorite content? I didn't, but according to my fucking comment section, apparently that's a thing. I swear to Christ.
One that you guys are probably more familiar with is the burn. The burn was insanely intense for a dungeon, and it was not very well received. Was it hard? At first, I didn't fucking believe that it was, but apparently it was. The Mist Dragon shit on kids. Blue Cloud mentioned Pharaoh Sirius. For those of you that don't know, holy shit. That first boss of Pharaoh Sirius, it's the guy, and I don't know if it's the same, but it was the boss. It's like a zombie and he summons dogs and shit. Pharaoh Sirius absolutely fucking shit on kids. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was so bad that if you got it in the roulette, you would just have people leave right from the start. I'm not even kidding. So
for perspective, people wipe on that even today. I assume he's talking specifically about the dungeon in its, like when it was on content, but people wipe on that boss even today. People are just very confused on that fight. Even in roulettes. Sometimes my group will wipe like a couple of times before we, get the point of the fight.
Have been dungeons where a boss or a particular section of the dungeon was challenging. So anyway, self-sustain and healing abilities given to other roles. The choice direction to give such abilities to roles outside of healer encroaches on the role. Oversimplified DPS rotation. Every job in 14 has a filler GCD that they press when there are no other requirements. No role in the game pushes the skill more than healer. Not by a long shot. Our offensive capabilities should still feel dynamic and rewarding. Yes, we are healers, but we are also casters.
The more I think about this point, like, the more I even try to justify in my head, like, yeah, before I did say, like, add some utility to the current spells. Add some, healing utility to the offensive spells and some offensive utility passives to the healing spells. Maybe that can balance it out. But the more I fucking think about it, let's be honest. The reason scholars lost their second dot is because some fuck-ass in Stormblood kept, like, trying to reapply his dot, and he kept letting his team die. So people assume it's either too hard, or I don't know. It's like, let's be honest. That is what's going to be happening right now. That is what's going to be happening. Let's be honest. Sage got a second dot right now. If the potencies remain the same as we saw during the media tour, they will have a second dot. They have to go into melee range for that, because it's a AoE around them. They gotta apply that dot through Eucrasia. And let's be honest, people are gonna die. These sages will let some of these parties die because of this. Not because it's a general opinion, because it's a general consensus, because skill level. No, because some people are just dumb fucks and shouldn't be trusted with some of these rotations, you know what I mean? So it's like, the more I thought about it, the simple rotation should be the way to go for healers. But there's other skills, the healing ones should provide like a bit of offensive utility. So they are eating at least something good.
Homogenization of healer jobs. There's no individuality across the jobs in the healer role to give them a sense of identity. Seraphism mode change in angelic opposed to Fey. Excessive.
That is, by the way. What? There's no individuality. Seraphism turns you into an angel instead of Fae. Therefore, you're practically a white mage. I don't know. It's like, this little comment right here just makes me giggle every time. Like, why is the problem there? Do the job quest, man. You got New Game Plus. You have no excuse. Go figure out where the whole angelic theme comes from for scholars.
Off GCD heals. These are not only abundant but exceptionally powerful. This is in addition to self-sustain on other roles, reduces the dynamic of healing comrades. Lack of threat level in nearly all forms of content. Healers should feel like they have a place in all forms of content. It is understandable that difficulty can be so great as to bar progression of story-based content. However, innovative means should still be employed to make greater full use of abilities.
Out of that one point, I agree with the last one. All of this is, it's okay, I guess, whatever. It's like, I don't believe healers should feel like they have a place in all forms of content. I feel like in some forms of content, you should have the ability to let other jobs, shine. The way they solve mechanics. Maybe they, kill ads faster. Maybe the tanks are Giga Chads and surviving tank busters like nobody's business. Maybe managing those cooldowns. Or just doing particular mechanics to, I don't know. Like, there is like a certain level of skill expression that I want jobs to have. Like, and I want different instances to help each role to kind of shine from time to time. But I don't think healers should feel like they have a place in all forms of content. That is very greedy. It is understandable that difficulty can be so great as far to bar progression story-based content. I don't think anyone agrees or disagrees with this. They just want some of the story content to be available to anyone, right? Like, this is PG-13 game. This is not Elden Ring. Little Timmy, who just came back from school, he's like 11, he wants to play his Final Fantasy favorite game. He shouldn't be like having to deal with like difficulty progression. I don't think he even cares about difficulty progression or whatever. He's just there to, hang out with his best friend, Yishlada or whatever. However, innovative means it should still be employed to make greater full use of our abilities. I agree with this. We have so many tools. I feel like we should have, like, it will be more fun to plan our rotations, like the cooldown rotations, the mid sheets, if there were some particular mechanics that would require certain types of cooldowns. Specifically to solve those mechanics, not just mitigate the raid wides. It's better to shield this and mitigate that. No, specifically give us something to either heal faster, heal slower. Hell, give us targets to heal. External targets to heal, like Harshifant was in DSR. We had to heal him, and mechanic was solved. That was good shit. That was yum yum. Give me more shit like that. I felt like very needed as a healer. Because no one's gonna clear DSR without healers. Maybe they will. Maybe they will figure something out. But that shit made me feel special. That shit made me feel important. I'd rather let fucking little Timmy and Dragoon die than Harshifan, because that is gonna wipe the raid if I don't heal him. Dragoon, it's fine. He'll backflip into the wall without my help. Mechanics like this, I want more of that. Not just in Ultimates.
This person is basically speaking from a mentality that they don't know. They don't understand. If this person truly has never done Ultimate, let alone Savage, then they really have no means to speak on a vast majority of the shit.
Remember healing Estinian? They removed. Yeah, but no, I remember that. I remember we were fighting Ninhogg. We had to keep Estinian alive. You know how easy that mechanic was? I didn't know I had to heal Estinian until, like, I don't know, maybe my 20th time running that dungeon. Because we were just killing ads, he wasn't really taking damage. Until, like, I just had a very weird blind group and, like, a lot of ads started hitting Estinian and I just clicked on him. Oh, I think he might be dying soon. Should I try healing him? Oh, shit. Dang. That mechanic was so non-life-threatening that I didn't know it essentially existed inside the fight until much later. The stakes need to be higher. Why are we like, the story is about us saving the world? Why do we have, like, you know, such comfort doing it? I don't know.
Shit here, because you definitely need a healer in Savage and you definitely need a healer in Ultimate. But that's not to say that this person doesn't have points, right? Like an oversimplified DPS rotation. Spamming one button isn't really fun. That's why I would never want to main healer. Some people are saying that the design of healer is bad, and I disagree with that. I think that the design of healer is actually very good. The direction...
This is an opinion I had before. I also thought that maybe the design of healer could use some work to make it fit into the current content, but the more I thought about it, I agree with Xeno right now. I think the design is really good of healers. It definitely feels like you are the healer of the group with how your rotation and cooldowns work. I don't know what he's gonna say next, but, like, I'm still gonna stand by my point. I feel like the content itself should be more fun. It should be more fun for everyone. Not just body checks, not just, you know, stack on both of your healers or you're gonna wipe. Ooh-wee! Well, you're not gonna wipe, just 4 people are most likely gonna die. But I want more fun to do, like more fun stuff to do in instances. I know I'm gonna be repeating myself, but I feel like it's, at this point, the more I punched all other options and points in my head, the more I brainstormed, the more I talk to the comments, especially like in my last video. It's a 4-hour video of me responding to comments. And that video was supposed to be over 5 hours. I had to cut out some stuff, but yeah, the more the idea bounced in my head, just the content itself needs to be more fun. Not like 30 seconds between each mechanic like Leviathan used to be. Not like the... Not like P3S, not like the tree, where the mechanics are so easy and that by the time you get to the difficult parts of that fight, the boss is already at like 24%. Like, maybe even less. It's like, I want fun fights. That's what I want. I don't want to justify having to change my job because people are just... They would rather the content remain the same. Let's be honest, because these are separate issues, but they're kind of correlating with each other. Because, like, sometimes people are not really happy with some of the instances. Some of the fights are very not fun.
That they are taking.
Well, some mechanics are just straight up atrocious. P12S.
Healers is bad. There's a clear distinction here, and the reason why there's a clear distinction is because design-wise, they are insane. They are easy as fuck, and you have ridiculous amount of off GCDs and power from a single kit. However, that doesn't mean that the direction is good. Like, basically, for the amount of work that you put into, healers do a crazy amount of damage, and you have a shit ton of, like, safety buttons and other features. They're actually designed very well because they're extremely effective and they're extremely easy to play. That is very good. There's upsides to the way that healers are currently designed, but there's also downsides. For those of you that didn't play back in Stormblood and, you know, Heaven's Ward or Realm Reborn, healers had to work like 3 to 4 twice as hard to deal way less damage. You had like 4 extra DPS abilities. You had an actual rotation. You had like dots you had to manage. You had less off GCDs. Basically, you had more shit that you had to manage DPS wise. You also had cleric stance, which added a whole other level of intricacy to the job. You had to be in cleric stance to deal damage, but while you were in cleric stance, you couldn't heal. So if you were in cleric stance trying to heal, then you would heal for like literally 2 HP. Yeah.
How many wipes do you think that caused? How many healers do you think were kicked out of their statics because they had an overcomplicated rotation that they tried to optimize, or because cleric stance? You butterfinger your, your cleric stance. Fuck your team from now on. You might as well just broil as much as you can before the wipe.
Yes, and that's the point. People back then complained that DPSing as a healer was too hard. Like, people have to understand that the reason why the healers are the way they are is because of us. It's not the devs. The devs are listening to us. This is what we wanted. That's the thing that people don't understand. The devs' original design was way different, way harder than what it is now. But we, as a collective, as a community, my blankie. I remember you brought me the blankie, but I had my one eye open and I wasn't asleep. And, well, just change the healer. Make it easier. Okay? So what did they do? They made it easier. And what happened? Now people are bitching that they're too easy. We did this to ourselves. We are the ones to blame. So if you're ever like, man, fuck these devs. No, fuck you. Because you're the reason they're like this. Let's see. So we'll just take a look at some of this. Same feedback's always been ignored. I won't be touching healers for Dawn Trail. Okay. I already removed auto payment and it's going to let my house just expire. Ooh, okay. So a house is opening up, guys. Dude, that's so stupid. Some poor DPS could have the plot. Like, why are they they are going to need something to do with that queue time. So salty. Holy shit, dude. So salty. Oh my. Healers have had several threads with hundreds of pages. Okay. I support the idea, but given their direction and the apparent addition of AoE heals to the DPS class, increased self-healing for tanks, I am unsure whether they would be any meaningful changes to the healing class. All right, I'm just going to tell you this right now, guys. People always complain about how, like, easy the jobs are. They also complain about how easy healing is, all this shit. They complain, oh, this is so easy, this is so easy, this is so easy. I'm going to tell you right now that you do not want Square Enix to make things hard. You don't. Because when Square Enix makes things hard, I'll tell you what happens. The raid scene dies. The game becomes so hard that no one wants to play. Yes, and this has literally happened because people complain in A Realm Reborn that the raids were too easy. So what did they do? They came out with Gordius. They came out with Gordius with DPS checks. They had extremely intricate rotations for the jobs. It was extremely punishing. And you know what happened? A shit ton of people fucking quit playing the game. The shit was too fucking hard. The jobs were too hard. Blah, 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 blah. Everything was just way too fucking hard, man. You do not want Square Enix to make things difficult. You don't. You think you do, but you don't, man.
And another thing why I think they've actually kept the healers the way they are for so long. Well, I mean, this is the third expansion. Remember what I said about Astro? Because the more I thought about my own comment on the Astro, the reason there's so many people constantly unhappy about Astro is because they've gone through so many versions of it. Everyone's gonna like their own version of Astro from that one, expansion. Some people like the utility of cards in Stormblood. Some people love the sleeve draw in Shadowbringers. Some people like the full RNG in Endwalker, and some people are gonna just love how simple the job becomes in Dawn Trail. Because there's so many different versions of it, you're gonna make more and more sides of what people prefer. Now that the healers have been more or less the same in terms of how they play for several expansions, they're averaging it out. Sure, people are gonna complain, but let's be honest, all of these people are gonna kind of chill the fuck out later on. If they're gonna go for another fourth expansion, some people are gonna say, "Oh my god, I hate playing healers. I guess I'm not playing healer this expansion. I'm gonna play tank or something." No one's gonna do a strike anymore. I think the more I think about it, again, I want it to be more fun to play healers. But the more I think about it, this strike is just not gonna work, and I want Square Enix to just kind of hold out another expansion and go the same design again. Just because we will have a lot less people who, I preferred healers in Realm Reborn. Why don't you go fucking play it then? Make a private server. It's the rest of us got used to this. We're kind of fine with this. As long as the content itself is gonna become fun. We don't know what's gonna be in Dawn Trail. It should be fun. If it's not, we will all call Square Enix lame on Twitter. But for now, until anything actually fucking changes. I'm just, it's gonna be so. This is probably gonna be my last video even talking about this.
Man, yes, there has to be a middle ground, and I believe that middle ground is Stormblood. What we have currently, I think, is a bit too imbalanced. I think that the raids, they have too many body checks, and the DPS and the rotations of jobs are not hard enough. I think that they need to lower the body checks just a little bit, and they need to up the difficulty of the jobs themselves.
I know I talk shit about the body checks, but I want there to be more of them. Because it will encourage other players to fuck up less. It will encourage healers to actually stop DPSing and actually keep throwing heals to actually bring people to the body check more prepared. I actually want more body checks. Give me more body checks. If anything that will keep healers focused the fuck up, locked in, and healing people, you know, those 3 stacks of essential dignity on Astra are going to be used very actively, I promise you. If there's going to be more body checks, just to prepare people for that. More body checks. Less healer stacks, more body checks, more mechanics that require healer to specifically pucker the fuck up. You know? Pucker your little slippery anus and just get ready to heal the fuck out of this team. You're carrying them with your healing, you know? It is a boring mechanic, I do agree. But it's like, I want more of those. I want more mechanics that literally can be carried by healers. Because if you can res people, you can top people up before, if they, you know, mess up and they need to be prepared for the next mechanic. That is where the healers are gonna shine. I want more body checks, because the body checks are gonna appear in even reclears and farm runs as well. So gimme. I fucking hate body checks. Fuck you, Alex. Stop wiping the group down. But yeah, like mechanics like body checks are essentially mechanics that healers can actually carry through. So, unpopular opinion, I know, but I want more of them. Because it will also, you know, through natural selection, it will also, you know, call out the people who just don't fucking get it, how to play like more safely, if they're not confident in the mechanics. It will call out people who cannot do fucking mechanics properly, and just let us have the people who, you know, play with the monitor turned on. Specifically in Party Finder.
I am a firm believer.
But then we're going to start another drama about whether or not you're allowed to kick out people from your Party Finder group, but that's...
that being able to play your job should be a part of the difficulty. I think that whenever you go into raid, playing your job to the best of your ability should be a part of the difficulty. What does body check mean? It means that all 8 players must complete the mechanic correctly or you wipe. That is a body check. Now, having 1 or 2 body checks in a raid tier is fine, you know, especially on the final turn. That's fine, that's acceptable, it's understandable. But having every single fucking mechanic a body check is obnoxious. For most of the time playing this game, I thought I was alone in thinking that healer gameplay was a little brain dead, for lack of a better word, and the vast majority of content, pretty much all dungeons, boiled down to casting your AoE shield, spamming your one attack for a situation, and repeating. The only thing making them exciting while leveling is the prospect of getting new toys as you progress. Once you hit max level, the appeal quickly fades. I've been a healer support main in pretty much every MMO I've played, and 14 probably has the worst overall experience of them. So while I agree with this person, I also say that this is subjective. My worst healing experience was not 14. I'm not saying this person is wrong. I'm not saying that they don't have any points. I'm just saying that from my experience, it hasn't been the worst, but it's really fucking boring, man. Either our kit is too strong for healing to be interesting, the sustain of other classes is too strong for healing to matter, or our DPS rotation is too one note for healers to have any... This is actually a really good post. To have any complexity outside of simply healing, whether it be one of or a combination of all 3 reasons. The result is a role that is borderline unplayable, dull, and certainly not fun or engaging in nearly any situation. And to think, I just finished leveling all the healers for 90 for Dawn Trail. Oh well, at least I leveled the tanks too. Okay, this is the thread.
Like, on the one hand, a lot of these people do have some validity to them. Again, like, I get, like, being bored doing one button, etc. It's like essentially saying, like, nobody wants to mess with me because I have a gun, right? So it becomes boring being me, you know what I mean? But this is what I think Square Enix needs to do. For that one dude with the gun, against him, they should pin 2 dudes with also guns and 1 dude with a funny weapon, like one of those like Morning Star flails or something. It's just something funny, you know, to give it flavor, you know? That's when skill expression is going to happen. I don't know why I'm bringing up such examples. The more I think about it, the funnier it gets to me.
Let's look at this. This is funny. I don't think I've ever been featured in an article before. I have actually been featured a lot on the Japanese forums and the Chinese forums. So Final Fantasy IV.
I've also noticed that most of the people speaking up on the forums haven't been around long enough to understand the issue. I mean, most of the people posting here are from 2020. I've noted you're right and wrong at the same time, because I've seen a lot of people are both like from like 2013 or like even like 2011, and some people are much like younger. When I say younger, they're like they came to the game like 2020, 21, 23. Kind of years, like more recent. Like there's not a lot of like specifically middle ground. There are people from those years, but they're not as common as those two groups. There are people reminiscing about the good old days, and there are people who are just echoing things because they're just not used to how healing works specifically in Final Fantasy XIV. Newer players, I mean, like if you've been playing for an expansion, and I know there's like some people who join the expansion, they barely clear any Savage content, but they're immediately going for ultimates, and they're clearing it. Like, there are some players who are good. Like, I'm not going to take that away from them, but let's be honest, you played the game for just an expansion, and you've just been chilling, doing story, unlocking things. Let's be honest, you haven't been actively raiding. You know why high-end raiders are considered high-end raiders, and why people consider them very skilled? Because they raid a lot. They raid a lot. When Xeno is not reacting to, you know, car crashes or spooky shit in abandoned houses, you know, my toilet is haunted, woo! He's raiding. He's raiding. Every time I tune into his stream, he is either in ultimates or doing some other content, or he's reacting, and somehow he's always eating. I think this is like the first video. This is like the first time I see him not eating in a long time. Zeno, if you ever see this video, I'm sorry. But how do you always have food, man? How do you always eating when I tune into your streams, man? I don't understand.
14 healers are going on strike over Dawn Trail changes. Final Fantasy 14. Dude, look at this thumbnail, man.
Thank you.
Dude, why is little Zeems in there, man? Final Fantasy 14 healers have decided that they finally had enough, organizing a strike to...
Let's be honest. Ow. Let's be honest. Like little Zeems, right there. That's a good thumbnail. People are like, even people who are gonna read this article, they might not be interested in whatever the hell is this. They might be more interested in whatever the hell this is. You know, is this man a Satanist?
take place on the day of Dawn Trail's release over other roles, getting more healing options. Their simplified DPS rotation and lack of challenge across all content. Final Fantasy XIV's upcoming Dawn Trail expansion is launching pretty soon, bringing with it a new race, an increased level cap, 2 new jobs, and a bunch of new abilities for all existing jobs. For most people, it's a pretty exciting time to be Final Fantasy XIV player. There is a...
Fucking behave! I'm trying to watch videos, goddamn, chill.
Section of the game's community that is feeling that they've once again been overlooked, as healer mains are going on strike upon the release of Dawn Trail. While healers have been rather dissatisfied with their role for quite some time, their disappointment hit new levels after a popular Final Fantasy XIV content creator, Xenosis uploaded a video, which you can find above, of himself clearing the first dungeon of Dawn Trail with no healer during the game's recent media tour. Yo, you know what I should have done? I should have just soloed the whole thing, because I could have. Okay, that's what I should have fucking done. I should have spent like 45 minutes just soloing this thing.
Let's be honest, he probably could have. He probably could have. What happened to the censor button? Well, it just had to off.
All right, and uploaded that motherfucker, you know? The video sparked outrage from the healer community on the Final Fantasy XIV forums, which has now blossomed into a full-scale strike. Final Fantasy XIV players are going on strike over Dawn Trail changes. Dude, this is just so funny to me, because I'm sitting there at the media tour, and I'm like, yo, we should do this without a healer because it might upset some people. Like... You could ask Arthur's, Todd, and Whoops, dude. I fucking told him. I was like, dude, you guys, we got to do the dungeon. But nobody go as healer. Final Fantasy XIV players are going on strike over Dawn Trail.
He did it for the same reason I tell all people who watch anime that you can watch One Piece from any episode because it doesn't matter. I know that's not true, but One Piece fans fucking hate it when I say that.
Changes. 1 day later, a player called Jamina created a thread for those in support of a healer strike to make their voices heard. In the post, Jamina lists the manifesto on behalf of the game's healer community of changes they want to see in future content. One of the prime concerns is the amount of self-sustaining and healing abilities given to other roles, particularly the tank job, as they feel it encroaches on the role of a healer if other players are keeping their health topped up. Hello, warrior mains. Okay, so just real quick, I want to say that the game is not balanced around dungeons. The game is typically balanced around like Savage and Ultimate. Like you can literally clear a dungeon with any comp. I feel like it's a mentality that people need to understand. It's an expectation that people just need to have, is that if content in the game is easy, it's because they don't balance shit around it. Yeah, and it should never be balanced around dungeons. Does anybody in this fucking chat even give a shit that you can clear a dungeon with any fucking comp? Does anybody actually?
Hey, according to my comment section, some people do it for fun, and they no, nobody gives a shit about dungeons. Again, dungeons are supposed to be available to both the high-end players and little Timmy. Little Timmy just finished mowing the lawn. He gets 1 hour on the computer to talk to his friend online. He doesn't care about, high-end progging the fucking dungeon. Fuck that. Little Timmy just wants to hang out with his friends. Hell, if little Timmy is gonna do the dungeon with trust, 45 minutes of his 1 hour on the computer is gonna be wasted on that. No, don't make dungeons fucking harder. Make them more fun. Fun does not equal to harder content. Fun is fun.
Care?
Like, if the Fall Guys event wasn't so janky, and if the server techs weren't making people so mad, that whole event would be the best fucking thing ever. That whole event would be so fun.
If you can solo a dungeon, like nobody cares.
Little Timmy should get good and get the dungeon mid-sheet. Yeah, I hope little Timmy doesn't watch Cole's videos. Oh man, dungeon drama. Oh, I need a mid-sheet for T for this? Wait, what the Timmy has had perfect grades. He's a good kid at school, but for the first time, Timmy said, wait, I need a mid-sheet for dungeons? What the
do dungeons for like multiple reasons, but for me personally, some of the top reasons I do like roulettes and stuff is just one, I do them with friends and I do them with you guys. Like I don't actually care how we clear. You know what I mean? I'm doing it because I want to just hang out with you guys. It's more for like background stuff. It's more like that we can come together and just hang out while something is going on in the background. And that something happens to be like a dungeon or a trial or some shit like, like an older trial or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Another big issue players have is the oversimplification of the healer's DPS rotation. This is a good and valid point, as the role is infamously dull when things aren't going wrong. This is true. Since healers are supposed to be focused on healing, there isn't much.
Remember, chat, healing is always going to be the most fun during prog. After prog, when things are recleared, it is the most boring fucking job. Even during prog, after you wipe a couple of times and you already got like a mitigation in rotation, healing becomes so fucking boring. They're not wrong on this.
Much flair in their damage rotation, and since players keep being given more tools to keep their own health topped up, it means healers are stuck doing repetitive rotations, often spamming 1 or 2 spells. I will say that this is definitely applicable for dungeons, but in like early Savage, I don't think this is applicable. A vast majority of people are going to definitely rely on healers. Now, as far as the spamming the one button, that is true in like pretty much all levels of content difficulty. Basically, you can say that the healer DPS rotation is dull, because it is. I do agree with you, but you cannot say that they are like invalidated in Savage and Ultimate content. You will never see a normal party finder up without 2 healers. There are more issues the post goes through, including job homogenization and lack of difficulty across casual content, something which Yoshi P has addressed in the past. The post has managed to gather hundreds of comments to support from other frustrated healers, and a strike is now planned to take place on Dawn Trail's release on July 2nd. During that time, players will not be participating in group content as healers, So depending on how much traction this movement picks up, you might find healers sorely lacking when Dawn Trail drops. Hello, I'm from the Japanese community. I use a translation tool, so sorry if my English is poor. There was a post in the Japan forum informing me about this thread, and I learned of this shocking move.
Yeah, the Japanese were shocked that the Western side of Final Fantasy XIV weren't happy. Like, just to reiterate, I spent, honestly, at this point, too much time on the Japanese forums myself, just because of this particular topic. I literally just went to the Japanese forums, because they did say something was mentioned there. And there were so many of these topics opened, and I only found out that these topics were opened by the Western players. And the Japanese forums were just kept locking them up because there were just too many of the same topic. One topic remained open, by the way. And it's like the Japanese players surprisingly are fucking chill about this. They're like, wait, what? Why are you unhappy? We are fine with this. We call them the green DPS. If I want a more complicated rotation, I play the red DPS. Don't worry about it. And most of them essentially did express not even like a frustration, but just a want for more contempt, content design specifically towards healers. Not the rotation, not how they're designed, but specifically what the healers are doing in content. Essentially, that was a majority of the posts that I read. Because it all stems down that it's not about how it is to play healer, it's whether or not it's fun to play healer. If it's not fun, people are going to nitpick every fucking little detail. Once healer becomes fun, even the current rotation, if they make it fun to play healer, nobody's going to give a shit about any of this. Nobody's going to give a shit about the rotation. Nobody's going to give a shit about literally the the amount of tools they got. If it's fun, it's going to be fun. No one's going to give a rat's toss about this.
First of all, I would like to state that there are many personal thoughts and not the consensus of the not the consensus of the Japanese community. I'm sorry that I may not be able to reply very often, as I really need to use a translation tool to communicate with you. Regarding the issue of healers, attack rotation being too monotonous, Japanese players' reaction is quite different from yours. Mm-hmm. Almost no one has a problem with the attack rotation. I don't know what they think differently than you do, but one opinion I sometimes see is if you want to attack, just play DPS. Okay. I don't recall seeing a more specific discussion in the Japanese forum than this opinion. I agree and disagree. Unfortunately, your opinion will not be accepted in the Japanese forum, but I am not going to disagree with you guys. I usually play mainly as a healer in Extreme and Savage, but I also play as a DPS or tank if I want something different and exciting. When pointed out to me, I have a feeling that this, when I want a different excitement, may stem from the fact that the healer's attacks are too simple. I feel it when I get tired of them. However, I myself do not see the need to change anything about the attack spells. I may need some more time to think about it. For now, I will be very curious about the difference in opinion between Japanese and English communities, and will keep an eye on what happens in the future. Thank you. This is really cool hearing from the Japanese, I guess, forum side or whatever, Mm-hmm. I just really feel like that the devs mentality is they're really, really, really adamant about your one character being able to play every role. They're using that as a reason for the way things are designed, right? At least that's what I get. That's the feeling I get. So whenever they're like, no, the healers aren't boring. If you get bored, just play another role. Because, technically they're right. Does that mean that we can't want more from a certain role? No, not at all. But I'm trying to put myself in their perspective. I really think that they're trying to crutch on that a bit too hard. I would love if there was some type of, I'm hesitant to say skill tree system, because at the end of the day, skill tree.
Ew, no, stop it. Zeno, bad Zeno. I got a water bottle. Zeno, bad opinion. Bad Zeno, down Zeno. What's in your mouth? Spit it out. Spit it out. No, bad opinion. No skill trees. Go lay down. Go lay down. No. I played enough World of Warcraft and Path of Exile just to see how fucking divided a community can get at the sight of a fucking skill tree. Half the balancing issues in World of Warcraft alone stem from Stop it. So many issues in World of Warcraft alone stem from just the issues of the talent tree and how it constantly needs to either evolve or change or be swapped around or introduce new shit. It's skill tree. No. Skill tree, bad. No. That flexibility should not be in 14. Can you imagine every player has access to a job, what, 23 jobs now with, well, if we're talking, I actually no, Beastmaster and Blue Mage are not going to get a skill tree. 21 jobs, ow. So 21 jobs would get individual skill trees, and every player can move around that. That is too much flexibility. That is too much of a system for one player to have. Like, who remembers that you needed to unlock separate jobs to unlock certain skills? That is essentially more or less how a skill tree with extra steps would work, but that is essentially what it is. And then you could select certain skills that you could use. No, that system is not in the game and nobody misses it anymore for a good fucking reason. Fuck that. Don't remind me about the territory class requirement. Yeah, exactly. And then, like, even in Stormblood, you had to, like, select certain spells to add to your hotbars. You could only have 2. You can't have all of them. And it's like, nobody misses that. Not a single person who even, like, starts reminiscing about the good old days of Stormblood or Heavensward or whatever. No one is bringing up systems like that. Nobody wanted those systems. Those systems were asked, and they're pretty much like a very similar system to a skill tree. No, bad, no. No.
Trees are an illusion of choice. However, the illusion can be helpful. The illusion can be helpful in the sense that it's not just flat out dull. There's always things to at least think about, even if it's like suboptimal or maybe some weird situation where, let's just say that, you know, you do have a skill tree. It's like a healing tree on Dark Knight. Let's say that you have been scarred many times by healers not healing you, and one of the talents in your
You have been scarred. Oh, the good days before Living Dead was changed.
skill tree is TBN is now a heal. Instead of creating a shield that just heals you, I would take that. Will that ever happen in this game? No. That is true. People would just copy the best setup in the end. That is true. That's why the skill trees are typically an illusion of choice. But the thing is, man, is that sometimes illusion of choice can be good. So this was an interesting thread. This was very funny to hear. Just out of curiosity. Yo, hey, what's up, guys? I want to talk about... Yo! It went down, boys. You know, this is actually fucked because this started at 60 and now it's 123.
A lot of yapping and not a lot happening.
God damn it. The only version of a skill tree I would allow, well, I say allow, that I would essentially kind of understand the existence of in specifically a 14 environment, is if everyone had particular ultimate skills and they could have 1 or 2 versions of it, right? Let's say Living Dead. He brought up Living Dead. Like the invuln skills essentially are the ultimate skills of a tank, right? Somehow surviving, you know, mortal damage, right? Living Dead, let's say there's 2 talents. Living Dead can either top you up and give you the sustain it gives you right now after it procs, and you can top yourself up on your own, or the other talent would be put it on someone else. You put it on yourself. You cannot use it yourself. That would open up options. You are either using Living Dead to survive damage, and you can essentially do it on your own now, or put it on someone else. Give it Living Dead to someone else. Let's say the main tank shoots... Let's say you are an off tank and you need to do mechanics and your main tank is taking a tank buster, and somehow you just agreed that tank can take multiple tank busters, but they need cooldowns. A good example, let's say this is a very complicated, some ultimate version of Fulminations. Ramo, right? Main tank is DPSing, the off tank is baiting the funny little bird for a while, right? Let's say there's like a big tank buster happen at that time. Why not just, as a Dark Knight who prefers off tanking, just cast Living Dead on him, right? Cast it on him. Hollow Ground, for example. What if there's 2 talents? One of them is as it is right now, long cooldown, but you take 0 damage. You take 0 damage. The other talent is a shorter cooldown, but instead of an invuln that makes you not take any damage, you gain a humongous shield instead. What about that? What if you just take a huge... You know how there's like little dots that show you that you're doubling your health in terms of how much shield is put on you? What if you just like triples his health and shield. You get a huge, humongous shield, and that is your invuln. Like the other talent of Hollow Ground. Stuff like that. Or, for example, just change, this can also work like, you either get Seraph as a skill that can kind of heal everyone, and, you know, it has extra cooldowns, or it turns into Seraphism as a talent. That can also work. That would be kind of sick. That kind of talent talent tree choices, I would appreciate it in a game like this. But like having an entire tree, no, not for this game. No. I am an advocate for options, but those options need to be justified, and they need to not feel like it's gonna take a lot of fucking, you know, people's time to just deal with this. You know what I mean? Like, they need to feel meaningful. Like that's my a version of the good talent tree. They need to feel meaningful. They need to feel like once you use that button, you feel good. You feel good for pressing that button. That's my opinion. But yeah, DPS can tank buster. Yeah, why not? I know some psychos had a strategy, for example, in E12S, to let like monks or samurais keep up uptime on some mechanics. They would just cover them. They would just cover them. The DPS would take the damage, but they're keeping up uptime. You know, there were some psychos that did that as a strat. It wasn't very popular as far as I remember, but why not? Like, let the DPS have some uptime. You cast it on like, let's say you have a triple range and one melee DPS. And as a tank, you just throw it on the DPS to take like a mortal damage, but they can keep up uptime. Meanwhile, you do tank shit. Maybe tanks are dealing with the mechanic at the same time. Like, do something fun like that. I don't know. It's like, I'm all for... Like, I am looking forward to like any change to some of the content, but the more like we talk about it, the more we think about it, this whole healer strike is just, it's childish. It's nothing. It's not gonna last longer than a week. At most, even. Later on, it's just like, if anything that the healer strike has got to contribute to, shorter queue times when we log into the game. That's it. That's a video.